For the pendulum lab, if you are to do it at home, you will need the following material. First of all, you can get a thread or a thin rope or a thin light necklace. That would be to suspend the pendulum with it. The second one would be screws of different masses, preferably 4 or 5. Pendants with also different masses, and probably if you don't have all of these, you could look for different keychains or different pebbles, and I'll show you now what I mean by that. So for example, you can have pendants like that. That would be one that you could add to this necklace, and then you can replace it by that one because it's a little bit heavier, and then you can add this one instead for the necklace. But forget about the necklace here. You're gonna use the same necklace every time, or thread every time, or light rope every time, and you can also use this one. So the point is to suspend the rope with something, and so you're gonna use these just the pendants, which is either this part or that part, or that part, and all of them are going to be suspended with one thread or rope or a light necklace as such, but you need to keep it the same. Now the point is, we want it to swing as such. You want to see it swing like that. Sorry, wait. You want to see it swing like that, or oscillate like that. And we're going to take the time for these oscillations, okay? So you want something that can swing easily. Or if you like, you could have different keychains, and then you connect them to the thread, so that when you suspend it, the mass is varying. So for example, this would be the heaviest one, okay? But then you can put 2 of them, 3 of them, and then 1 on its own. The point is, you are varying the masses, and as you vary the masses, and then connect it to one of the threads that you have, you're gonna see the time needed for swinging, assuming that you have connected it to a thread. So over here, I have, actually this is like a headset, and I've tied it to the keychain, and that's how it's gonna swing. So then if I want to vary the mass, I will just remove one of these and continue to remove them every time. So I'm lowering the mass, and I would have 4 different masses, let's say. Each one I will do for 3 trials. But then this is a good example. The thread, I mean by that, the headset, is a good example, because you can vary also the length. We are required to vary the length in this experiment. Okay, so what if you don't have rope or thread? So basically, I now have old masks, surgical masks, that I am not using, and so I can use a pair of scissors to cut these, so they're not going to waste. Because, even recycling is not the best idea, so it's better to use it. So I'm just gonna cut it from here, that end, and the other end. So now I have 1. And I'm going to continue to do the same with the rest of them. I'm trying not to lose the parts of the I'm trying to use all parts of the rope, so I'm going to be careful in how I do it. Yes, so just probably not cut it, just like go to the small thread and get it out of the rope connection if possible. If not, you can just cut the parts that you can cut. So that's my second one. and I'm gonna do the same for all of them. Okay, done. Now I have all of these ropes. What am I gonna do with them? I'm gonna make a big, long rope, not a big, just a very long rope by tying them together. And I'm gonna vary the length accordingly. So every time I want to use it for a different length, I'm gonna add one piece, okay? So, but I have to be consistent. If I'm varying the mass, let's say, I'm gonna have to use the same length, or if I'm varying the angle, I'm gonna have to use the same length. I'm just gonna tie a knot over here. It doesn't matter, you know, that's one. That's actually the best type of rope or thread that you can get, because it's light and it doesn't, the mass doesn't affect. As you are conducting the experiment, it's very important to keep the same type of thread material every time you're doing the experiment. So don't use a necklace one time and then a light thread and then this one. So you have to use the same material for consistency. But if you are varying the length, then you have to change the length of the same rope type. If you're not changing the length and you're changing the mass or the angle, then you're gonna have to keep the same exact length of the rope and same type of rope. I think that's clear enough. Wow, look at that. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to continue to do that because that's actually, you're going to find it very satisfying to tie and work with. And actually, it's easy to tie around pebbles if you have pebbles now. This is excellent for if you're going to look for pebbles. I'm going to go outside now and find myself some pebbles. And then I will try to tie them around them. And I'm getting very creative with this here, guys. So, oops, look. Now I'm gonna put these ones, I'm gonna put them extra for varying the length, probably. So, this is the longest length I have over here. And I can use a ruler to measure its length. Obviously, if you don't have a ruler that's that big, then you're gonna have to like measure parts of the ruler. If the ruler ends over here, you're gonna have to move it and see the rest of it, how long it is. That's probably the longest length you could have. Now, if you want shorter, I would say, you know, if you could do your shortest one could be 1, 2, let's say, of these, and then the longer length would be 1, 2, 3 of these, and then the next one would be 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, and then the longest one would be like 5 of these or 6 of these. It doesn't matter, but you need to provide with the length value. Now I'm gonna try to use the pebbles, different masses from outside. I'm gonna go collect some and see how it looks like once I tie them. Okay, so I found these small pebbles, and I have 4. That's enough. You can tell the order. If you don't have a mass balance to weigh them, just, you know, you could do an estimate of the mass by like holding them on this with something that you know its mass, or you can ask one of your parents to help you, or you can just say highest mass. Let's try tying it around it. So that's the first attempt. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. Yeah, it works. This is excellent, by the way. So yeah, that's your first length. Now that would be the first length. You can now, how are you going to measure the length? Now this is how it's going to be like. You have to go from where you tied the knot, okay, all the way up to the point of suspension. which is where you're going to tie it to. Here, let's say you made another knot over here, so that would be the point of suspension. That would be the total length that you are going to measure. Okay? And then if you want to vary the length, if you want to vary the length, you're just going to have to tie it from a smaller end, from another end that is shorter over here. So you're going to take away from the length of it. And if you want to make it even shorter, you're going to go even down like this and even shorter like that. Okay, and then you're going to like suspend it. Now, if you want to vary the mast, you're just going to have to untie this, keep the same length. You choose the length, by the way. It's up to you which length you want, but just be consistent with it. You're going to have to untie this and then tie it to another one of these.
The next thing you will need would be 2 rulers. The first one would be for measuring the length of the rope or the rope or thread, sorry. And then the second one, the second ruler would be to hold probably to suspend the object from it. A meter tape could also be used for measuring the length, but if you want to suspend it and you don't have a second ruler, well, basically what you could do is use something from the kitchen, something that's like, that could be balanced, you know, so or a straw, for example. And so let's say, but this is better because you can it's stable, so like that, and then you can then allow it to swing, but you need to hold it with something over here. And then you will need 2 rulers, one of them or a meter tape to measure the length of the rope. The second ruler would be to suspend the rope from, or if you don't have that, you could use a rod that you can find in the kitchen, or even a straw. So let me show you how that looks like. So for example, this can be used, and then it's, if you allow it to swing, if you pull it to one side, but you need to secure this part so someone can hold that for you, and then allow it, when you allow it to swing, well, basically here you have to hold it from one end, put something on it to hold it, and then you're going to allow it to swing by pulling it to one end. This needs to be stabilized by probably like putting, if you don't have anyone with you to help you, then you can just put it between a book and your laptop, let's say, and hold it in place, and then you can just pull it to one end and allow it to swing. You see? Easy. Okay? So problem solved. But then you also need to note the angle from which you have released it, and that angle would be the angle between the center where it's being suspended and the from where you are releasing it. So that would be the angle of release. So that's why you are going to require a protractor, okay? Because you're going to measure this angle. If you don't have a protractor, then you're going to have to remember where you released it from every time. But you need to do all of these measurements while you are level with your apparatus. So make sure that you are in control of the pieces of apparatus.